Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever you are. Welcome to the community live stream. This is a show that helps to get you to be a more effective ServiceNow administrator and or developer. My name is Chuck Tomasi from ServiceNow. This is March. No, it's not March yet. Another couple of days for that. Let's not get any faster than we need to. This is February 27th. It's my mom's birthday today. I got to remember to give her a call. 2019. I am the ServiceNow guy with the cool bow tie. And a little bit about me. If you just started watching this, I have about 10 years, a little over 10 years experience with the platform. I started out as a customer for a couple of years, and I have been at ServiceNow since 2010 in a variety of roles in professional services and solution consulting and a number of other things. So that is... my main focus, of course, is on the platform, custom applications, and integrations. If you are watching on YouTube, I highly suggest you turn on that subscription, and who knows, maybe we'll even get the notification while we look at, is it there? Twitch has chimed in, but nothing so far from YouTube. We'll see. It comes up. We'll check back. Oop, gotta not do that. That would throw off all of my controls. So two keyboards gets a little confusing. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on notifications, and you will get a notification sooner or later. John appears to have that. We do this every day at 1 p.m. UTC, so if you don't trust the YouTube notifications, you can always set your alarm clock. Thank you. Thanks for joining, John. Give me a shout out in the chat. We also do this on Twitch. So if you want to turn on the notifications or subscribe there, follow that channel. Appreciate it very much. I think this is the only content that goes out on the NOWCommunity Twitch channel. Pretty sure of that. But the NOWCommunity YouTube channel has lots of other content. So, hey, you never know. Pick whatever's your favorite. Some people like either one, appreciate it either way. The community is where we'll be doing most of our work today. Community.servicenow.com. If you get a question beyond just, hey, Chuck, how's it going? The weather's fine out here. How's the wife and kids? We'll post it on the community. Make sure that you get the right people involved to look at that question, dig in. I was looking at the community just moments before the camera started, and it is a buzz of activity today. I cannot believe how crazy it is there. Nothing specific, just questions flying back and forth and people responding very, very quickly. Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I'm thinking about doing something a little different today, but we'll see where this goes first, depending on what the vibe is in the community. So lots of great questions, answers. If you've got anything that comes up regarding ServiceNow, whether it's a developer related on scripting or asset management, put it in the right forum and get the right people to look at it, and you stand a better chance of getting it communicated. If you have experience in the community, consider creating a blog entry out of that experience that you've gained or the lesson you learned. It could be something you just learned yesterday and you don't know that anybody else has covered it. Always be sure to search the community first before asking a question or, of course, posting an article. But hey, putting your own favorite spin on it, we always like to hear that. So very vibrant. This is probably the best online community that I have ever been involved with, and I've been involved with a lot over the last 30 years. I started with electronic bulletin boards in the mid-'80s, so it's more than 30 years of online communities. This one tops them all. I could say that without reservation. After the community, there is, of course, the developer portal, which I think I still need to sign into, for our developer site, developer.servicenow.com, where you can get a free personal developer instance. You can get all the scripting APIs, free learning plans, blog articles, meetup information. It's going to load eventually. There it is. Should have done the old take a drink thing. Your personal developer instances can come with the latest of either 2 or 3 releases. I know we're currently at 3. That may change in the future. Don't know. So Madrid is our new release that just came out. Early availability was late January for that. That was the day that Madrid became available on the personal developer instances. It is not available in general availability as of this recording on February 27th. That's still another week or so away. So This gives you a sneak peek, a lead in, a way to touch and feel and try the new Madrid features, many of which we talked about on yesterday's Tech Now episode. So check those out, do a little comparison, do a little learning on your own. I know some of those features we talked about very, very quickly. We will be diving more into those in future episodes. The events menu over here has lots and lots of events coming up, lots of developer meetups coming up in March. Some even extend into April. If you want to get details of where those chapters are, because these are the ones that are currently registered as active, go over to meetup.com at the URL that you see there, /pro/ServiceNow Dev Program. Find out where your nearest and dearest local chapter is and get involved with that. Some of them are very far north. They barely fit on the map. Some of them are very far south. They barely fit on the map. So we've got chapters all over the place. 50 of them, if I recall, they now moved. They changed formatting this page. The stats used to be at the bottom right under the map. Now they're up at the top. 50 chapters, 14,500 members around the world. We're looking to grow that. So get your coworkers involved. Get your friends involved. Get your friends involved who don't even have anything to do with ServiceNow. Get them on board. Bring them to one of these things and go, look how fast we can do stuff. Build things right in front of their eyes. Build things in front of each other's eyes. Get input from other people. Hey, am I doing this right? What do you recommend? Share those ideas. Developer meetups are a wonderful place to share that information. Whether it's information about the latest release or a project you're working on, this is a great way to build community around that. Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Abid. The sunny West. The West Midlands, UK. I don't know that I've had anybody check in from the West Midlands of the UK. Just had somebody ask me if I was traveling to London anytime in April. No plans for any international travel this quarter, which is Q1, or April. Obviously, May is going to be busy with knowledge the first half, and the second half I'm taking time off. So looking forward to a family trip to Israel and the Holy Land at that point. So having a good time there. And then we'll come back in June. Next international travel, I do know there is an early trip to Toronto. So going from the U.S. to Canada, sometimes I overlook the fact that is, hey, we got our announcement. YouTube's broadcasting just a few minutes late there, YouTube. All right, we pretty much covered the meetup. Let's go to Knowledge May 5th through 9th. That's our big conference, expecting 20,000 people to show up in Las Vegas at the Venetian Palazzo. We will be doing this again at the Sands Convention Center, right behind those hotels. So if you're not available to get into the Venetian Palazzo, you can always catch an Uber and get in there. That's where it will be. Same place as last year. So if you were there last year, you're familiar with the layout. Good on you. You know how to get around. Always advantageous. You don't have to stop and ask for as many directions. If you haven't been there before, plan ahead a little bit. It is a big space. And if you are at a nearby hotel, everything looks real close by, but offer yourself some extra time. Bring business cards so you can socialize and build your network that way. My cheat plan is whenever somebody gives me a business card, I write on the back. I say, what did we talk about? Where did we meet? It was at lunch on Tuesday. We talked about how they're building a REST API integration to something, or they wanted to get information about Amazon Dash buttons, for example. Maybe something like that. It'll help you when you get home or at that night, you process those business cards, get them in there. If you go with a group of people, I've said this before, but if you haven't watched this, if you go with a group of people from your organization, split up, maximize your conference experience so that you can get the most out of all of those. If one person is looking at mostly CreatorCon stuff for the technical, and another person is doing CMDB, great. Don't sit with each other. Don't whether it's at meals or in the keynotes, meet new people and get exposed to those, and you will gain a better conference experience. Lots of hands-on workshops, as we mentioned, hands-on workshops and labs, lots of customer-led experiences, keynotes, of course, and everybody looks forward to the parties at night. So it will be a very full week. You will come home with a full head of information. There is pre-conference training on May 5th and 6th. Go over to knowledge.servicenow.com and look over the agenda, get things signed up. Take that for what it's worth. Carolyn Ramsport checking in. Shadi checking in. Moses, good morning from Australia. Ooh, we have a late, a night bird in Australia. It is getting very, very late there. So thank you very much for tuning in. I do this at 6 a.m. my local time. I get the maximum reach around the globe. And that hope you had a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday in Australia. Things are closing down over there. Who did I miss? Brian, Abid, Kevin, good morning, Francis. Everybody's checking in. Austin is checking in. Shalini. I'm feeling kind of guilty because I don't know if I want to do what I want to do. We do have one other notice. The new webinar is posted. You can register for next month's Tech Now. We just did one yesterday. And yes, this morning I am talking about Tech Now episode 62, where Stacey Bailey is going to be talking about a deeper dive into the Madrid development mobile application, developing applications for that. I may get into that a little bit today. Don't know. I don't want to steal her thunder, but I do have something I need to work on, and I can't find another block of time to work on it except for today. But Tuesday, March 19th, 8 a.m. Pacific, you can register over there. Remember, 8 a.m. Pacific, well, you guys don't need to worry about this because you all change your clocks at the same time. Most of you. So check your time. This may be an hour ahead or an hour behind. I know some people change their clocks later in March. Some people change it earlier in March. In the U.S., Daylight Saving Time starts March 10th. I thought it was next weekend on the 3rd. It is March 10th. So I know I'm talking to a very global audience, and check your times and make sure that you don't miss it by an hour. I'm sure there will be calendar invite options for all of that. But looking forward to that very, very much as she dives in deeper. This is very easy and very exciting. There are some nuances you need to be aware of because it's embedded in Studio, but some of the terminology is new because it came over from an acquisition that we made, and we're going to have to learn some new things, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's how we keep our jobs, right? It's always something new to learn. Denmark checking in. Steen, good morning to you. Amin. Let's get on with the last bit of my intro with these hotkeys. We will be doing code today, more than likely, I suspect, and any code that is produced by the magic fingers will be available in the GitHub repo that you see there in a dated folder, 2019-02-27, with today's dates. You should be able to find that quite easily. All right, let's get started. Good morning, Ed. Wow. I think this is one of the bigger audiences we've had and most interactive so far. I may take a live coding happy hour approach to this, see what's in the community. I mentioned this the other day. I get nervous that I don't know what I'll find. This is totally unscripted. When I do this, I sit down in front of the camera and I say, let's get started. And I hope there's something interesting in the community. It's just a rolling the dice this morning. Restricted caller access privilege should be on update set. Restricted caller access. That's in the security operations, but that doesn't sound like a security operations thing. It sounds more like an update set thing. Let's find out. Hello, I'm developing security incident response module for a client. It's my first experience managing scopes. I've created an update set on security incident scope, but when I do some changes, I still see the following records in the update set. And I can't really see that all that well. Can I make that bigger? This is updated by applications. Insert up. This is from the sys update XML table, apparently. And it says, should these kind of records be included in my update set and moved to a pre-production environment? Restricted caller access privilege. What table is that on? Doesn't say a table. The determination, the system determines, easier to spell, whether or not a file goes in the file or record. I'm starting to call them files because that's what they're called in Studio. Record is put in an update set, is determined by two things, if I remember right. One is, I thought there was a dictionary attribute for that. Let me look in the documentation, dictionary attributes. And the other is if it if it belongs to the sys metadata table structure, it does not. That means it's transactional information like incidents. The dictionary attributes for update set. Update. There are 12 occurrences. No update is true for updates recorded not to be updated. Nope, don't want that. Rough qual elements. Nope. Update sync indicates that changes in the table are tracked in update sets. Administrators cannot modify this attribute to migrate data, instances, support. So that is one of them. That's number 10 and 11. What else do we have? The updated on the web page, of course. Updated by two things. One is the update sync dictionary attribute. And I think it had an H on it, did it not? Let's go back. Yes, that's like the only place I've ever seen that happen. That's why I remember it. The update sync dictionary attribute. And since I have that already bookmarked, let's just put that in. Update sync dictionary attribute. Okay, paste, new window, okay. The other is the table structure. If it belongs to, if it is transactional data, e.g. incidents, PM task, SC task, we'll use that instead, etc., it does not get captured by default. I was curious why, and maybe somebody can answer this in the chat or online. You mentioned that he's doing a scope, but using an update set. With a scope, you can promote things through the app repo. Much easier. It's one click, put in a description, it's now published, you go to the other instance and you install it. It's not this convoluted process of these changes are captured in this update set and these changes are captured in another update set. And this one includes, here's everything you need for that application. Just curious, why use update sets with a scope? I've never done that myself personally. Unless I'm going to be distributing it to, say, the share portal. Then, of course, I want to export that, and oftentimes I'll do demo data at the same time. So there's an answer. Let's see what happens with that. Want to submit a request from portal, RITM variables are not populating in portal. Interesting. Let's see what we've got on that one. Can't always provide an answer, but I will take a look. I have created one script include and two client scripts to fetch the list of table values based on an add query condition. Okay, so we've got the backend view has variables. This one does not. Are the client scripts? Let's read on. Conditions of catalog. I've created two select box variables with no choices, and I'm fetching the list and setting them. Do they include any of the code? Yes. Script include is here. Let's assume it's working because it's working on the desktop. Do you have, here's the client script. The key thing I'm looking for is, wow, that's a lot of code. That's a lot of code. What I'm looking for in the catalog client script is whether or not it's available on the portal. There is, and I timed out by just a couple of minutes. I logged in right before the show started. My personal developer instance, which I got from developer.servicenow.com. You can get that for free, your own, running Madrid. This is Madrid. So, catalog client scripts. Morning, Alan. I'm a little behind on the good mornings. So if I have hide widgets on service catalog, for example, I look at this onload script. There is, let's make this editable. It's in human resources. To edit this record, click here. UI type. You want to make sure that it is set this way. So I'm going to grab a screenshot of that. Make sure your client script has this. Easy thing to overlook. Get that there. Have you checked the UI type field on your client script to make sure that it is set to all? Paste. Done. Didn't see that described anywhere, but I did scan rather quickly in the interest of this show. Don't want to spend a lot of time reading to you. You're all perfectly capable of reading your own. Couple more. Let's do a couple more. Did I reload the page? I don't remember reloading the page. Things get stale really fast on this community. It moves quickly. What did Ferris Bueller say? Life moves quickly. Inbound email action. I'll take a look. These things are always a little tricky. Let's see what we can find. Hi, all. We have requirement to update the work notes and not the additional comment when an update inbound action be triggered from an incident form. But when the specific inbound action is getting triggered, both work notes and additional comments are getting updated. Any suggestions? Let's take a look at one. Inbound actions. Down here under System Policy, Email, Inbound Actions. Let's take one very simple one from the incident table. Maybe create incident is a good one. Update incident. Let's do update incident instead. Go to the next record. I missed. There we go. When to run, actions. Here we go. Somewhere in here, does it say current.comments? Okay. Somewhere in there, I would expect that it says something like that. Can you share the script? I suspect somewhere in there is a line like this. You know what? That would be a better thing to put in the script editor, just because I like the formatting that goes around it. And I don't like that. I wish that was just a tiny smidge smaller, but they're not going to change the format of the community just for this show. Change it to work notes and it should update the way you want. If not, share what you got, what you can, and we can take a look. One inbound action later, and another coin. I do that just because it's fun to ring the bell. Zing search engine, hyperlink on submission page, add work notes, ServiceNow, hyperlink on submission page. What submission page are we talking about here? That was interesting. The topic is topics. I didn't even know that was a forum. Really? Hold on. That's a thing? All forums. Topics. Architect topics. What is this? I've never seen that before. Forum topics, hyperlink on submission page. My instance is unavailable. It looks like it's, well, apparently Veronica is the chief poster in here. I've never seen this before. Let's go back to where we were. I don't even know what it's supposed to be for. There's no description. I've created a thank you page on the service portal, which appears after user submits ticket to service portal. On the thank you, the ticket number will appear. Can anyone help me how to make that ticket number as a hyperlink so if the user clicks it, they're redirected to the ticket? Yes. You need to pass the sysID and table to the widget. This is most commonly done. Let's make that a little bigger. I usually do this. I don't know of another way to do this, so I'm going to say I do this using URI parameters like ID equals XXXX and table equals XXXX. So I can fetch the record in the server code. You can get the parameters using sp.getParameter. Right? I have to look because I cannot remember off the top of my head where that is. So let's go to I just did this. I'm going to go to the Jeopardy app, and probably not for the last time today. I'm writing a game show, Jeopardy game show application. Suppose I could have just gone to, well, let's do it this way. Service portal, configuration, designer, widget editor, and I want the card. I pass parameters to the card. And here is my client script. Let's look at the server script. In there, odd, I would have thought I saw a parameter in here. Oh, there it is. It's $SP. So with a quick update on that, that is not where I was. I was over here. $SP parameter. Call. Here's an example how I got a couple from a recent widget I built. Put that in the code, paste, click OK, and then in the HTML, then pass them via the data object, like this. Wow, this is getting more complex than I expected. So I'll show you all this, how it goes in just a quick second. Do a div. Actually, that's the one time I need HTML and XML. Div. Oh, that's not where I'm going yet. Hold on, it would be data dot game ID equals game ID data dot card ID equals card ID. You know what? I'm going to build this more for her use case. Get rid of that. This should be how I would do that. So bring this back up. It would be table name and sysid. So this would be table name. The server code would look like this. I'm making this up as I go. So this is completely untested. Get the tabs out of there. We don't really need them right now. Get the parameters with SPGet parameter. Then you need to do a lookup. So classic var_gr, new glide record on table name. Do a gr if gr.get on sysid. Then data dot table name equals table name. Data dot sysid equals sysid. And what else do I need? I don't need anything else. Do I even need to retrieve the record? Probably not, because there's nothing else in the record that I need. Suppose you could pass the display value. It's already got the link though. So assuming she's already got the link, I don't think I really need, could just do this. Data.table name. Thinking about this as I go. So you're getting the actual raw thought process that goes on in here. Sometimes I start brute force and waste a few variables. Sometimes I don't. And then when I see a shortcut, I'll take it. So get those into the data object, then consume them. Don't select everything. Just wanted to erase that extra T. Then consume them in the HTML with your hyperlink, something like this. Do another little code snippet here. This one will be a href equals. Now, I can't remember if the brackets are needed here or not. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't. Like in an ngIf, you don't use them. But I'm going to assume we do. It'll be slash data.tablename .do sysparm. Of course, you probably want to put your portal and everything on here, but I'm not going to consider that. Not sysparm. Sys ID equals data.sysid. Close that up and do your data.number, assuming that's already a set thing, and away we go. Assuming data.number is the display value already set up. Make that a little bigger so you can read it at home. Already set up. Substitute. Why can't I spell today? Your data.number with whatever your ticket number is. Number variable. If it's already displaying it, it's displaying it somewhere. They may be doing it in a gs@info message, which will be an SP. No, I can't remember. We'll find out. If it's in the client script, then we have an issue. Share your code. All right. So back over on my widget editor, I'm doing something similar. I get two parameters. I set them up. In this case, I do need the game ID because I am getting a record and then running a script include to get further data. I get the card information, I get the data into these objects, card and players. That's all my server script really does is preload it, front load some information. And then when I'm looking at it in the HTML, I do an iteration over, the top is, what widget am I on? I'm on show card. Okay. Down here, I do an ng repeat on the players to construct what the player scores are in a section. I've got another section down here where I do an ng repeat. Oh, no, it's not an ng repeat anymore. I just do the three. That's the only place I have an ng repeat. But you see, I'm digging deeper into the data with data.card attachment. Notice in my ng repeat, wherever I put that a minute ago, you do not use curly braces. It's smart enough in those AngularJS attributes, ng-repeat, to understand data.players is an array. Somehow it magically knows. If I'm calling it out as something I want to display in the HTML, I do use the curly braces. So that's one of the crazy things I had to learn about AngularJS is when those are used. And sometimes you get it right and sometimes you get it wrong. I mean, you test your widget and it says curly brace stuff. You go, okay, well, let's try it without it. So it's just trial and error on some of this stuff. I don't really know the rules of when that is supposed to happen. I do need to change something. I'm going to diverge from the community for a minute and show you that Jeopardy game. I think many of you are aware of the game of Jeopardy. If not, I was talking with a coworker yesterday that that was from Australia and he wasn't familiar with this. They don't get Jeopardy there. So I will give you a quick overview. And why I built this is because there are going to be 3 developer theater sessions at CreatorCon on Tuesday. What would that be? The 7th, 7th, 8th, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the 7th. I think it's Tuesday night. One at noon and one at 6 and one at 6:30 p.m. So 3 30-minute sessions on Tuesday, May 7th in Las Vegas. We're going to play a game, a learning game. It's a trivia game in all simplicity. And it is made up of, I'm probably going to have to back this up just a little bit so the board all fits on there. Made up of this board that you see here. And the game show host will read off a question in the form of an answer, and the contestants need to provide the answer. So, for example, I've got categories across the top. They say, please release me. This is about ServiceNow releases. The fossil record is ServiceNow history. In the box are features that are included with ServiceNow. Security badges is questions about security features, security best practices. What's that feature? I would use an acronym, and the contestant will give me what that acronym stands for. And then, oh really, which is a random amount. So players across the top with their winnings, and control is currently on Michael. I know it's kind of tough to see, but it's Michael, Mark, and Tom. These are three of my coworkers at ServiceNow. And Michael says, I will take, what's that feature for 100? We click that, and here's where Service Portal comes into play. This is all done in Service Portal. Let me go back to the board because I need my phone up and running. I want to show you the phone interface. I think I showed this to you the other day. With the new mobile agent, I've created a widget so that the game show host has the answers. So in my Jeopardy app, I have the host view. Hopefully this will work today. Starts out with a blank screen. It should say game 1. I have a minor bug to fix. We're not going to do that today. And it says, I will take what's that feature for 100. And up on the game show host, the Service Portal widget, am I on the right? I am connected to the right instance. I should have the answer and question there. To say ATF. Of course, many of you know this stands for Automated Test Framework. And if Michael smacks his response button, whoever answers first gets to answer the question. You say, Michael, what is ATF? And he says, what is Automated Test Framework? And I say, correct. And Michael gets $100 added to his score. That card is taken off the board. And that's the way we play it. Again, I should be seeing an answer here. XML. There we go. Now it's updating. Must have had it. So for $200, what is XML? And he would say, what is extensible markup language? Whoever buzzes in first. If they get it wrong, let's say Michael says extendable markup language. I say, oh, I'm sorry, Michael, that is incorrect. He gets $200 taken off. He's now minus 100 for his total. And Mark O'Donnell chimes in and says, what is extensible markup language? He then gets the $200 and we go back to the play. What do I want to change today? Well, if I look into the data model for this, I have 3 games available on the game table. Each game table has a related list of players. Now, the players are in a many-to-many list. However, that many-to-many list, if I go into Studio, I'll tell you what the fatal flaw is. I started working on this, but I didn't quite finish. In the real game of Jeopardy, if somebody wins on Monday, they come back as a champion on Tuesday, and there are 2 other players to play with them. Their winnings carry over, but their game winnings stay with them. So what I have built is a many-to-many table so that I can say, Michael's playing here, Michael's playing there, and Michael won on Monday, he's playing again on Tuesday. Leave his rolled up winnings on his player profile. The player table is not extended from sysuser. It is not even linked to sysuser because I didn't want to put things like how much money did you win on the game show on the sysuser table. So if you want to load this on your instance, I will make this available after knowledge with the sample data, with those questions you saw there. I'm picking easy ones that everybody should know and not revealing any of the good questions. So the player table is like a little profile. It's like a sysuser in its own for this game. I have active, I have amount, which is the amount they've accumulated over a number of games, their name, and it's pretty much that's it. The many-to-many table is the game players table. This was made out of the many-to-many definition. If you haven't made a many-to-many table before, you can go under data model, many-to-many definition, very easy to do. You say, I'm connecting this table to this table and this field to this field, and it will figure it out. And you get the equivalent of group membership. We have groups, we have users, and group membership is that tie between them because you can have one user with multiple groups and you can have one group with multiple users, and that's the way we do it. So I wanted that same data model where I could have a game with multiple players, and the player could be involved with multiple games. So last week I changed it from a simple reference field on the player table to say, Michael is in game 1. Here's his winnings, who's in control, and I put those details in the many-to-many. So I started with a many-to-many table that just had the 2 reference fields, one to the game and one to the player. And I added the additional attributes, like what order are the players in? So when you look at them on this related list, the amount they've won for this game is currently tracked on the many-to-many table. The amount, who's in control, because if you answer a question correctly, you gain control of the board. You get to pick the next category and amount. And then, of course, what order they're in so that they appear across the board in correct order. So that's the game and player table. I've separated the two, not a direct connection with a reference field, but I've separated them with a many-to-many and put those game-specific attributes on the many-to-many table. You can modify those things. If you wanted to add additional attributes to sysuser GR member, go right ahead. There's nothing stopping you. It's just an ordinary table. I've done this many times on many-to-many tables, and it's a great way to say, I need the instance of this connection of table A and table B to have specific attributes about that connection. So you don't have to put them on one or the other because they become kind of static. This is a great way to do dynamic. If I wanted to put Michael Slobodnik into game 3 as well, I would, of course, go over to my games table, game 3, swap out George Washington, and put in Mr. Slobodnik. All right, save that. Of course, I need to give him an order, tell him which he's going to be the new player 3, and maybe even we could put George Washington as a backup. So I did do a backup feature in case Mr. Slobodnik gets sick and can't play Jeopardy. Then this would be player 3's backup. Or it could be player 2 or player 1. So that's the idea about that. But I'm not going to get into that because I'm not even sure if my query is looking for primary at this point. Let's pull that out. Actually, I could check real quick, right? Easy to do. Go back to Studio. And in my script include that does all of my underlying work, I unimaginatively just called it util. Here is the script that does this. I have a method called getPlayers. And getPlayers simply builds an object that Service Portal, was that it? No, set player amount, getPlayers. Builds an array of objects that Service Portal consumes. Now I just need to make sure that here is my query against the M2M table. Did I, in fact, there's the player, there's the game players. Did I put the type? Where was the choice? Oh, state. That's an odd thing to call it. I don't know why I called it that. Okay, so I need to also add the query player gr.state is primary. There we go. Otherwise, I would get 4 players, and this game doesn't play with 4 players. This game plays with 3 and only 3. And I should probably put a set limit 3 on there in case somebody really barfed things up bad. Okay, but what I need to do is roll up those scores from each game. Let's say, for example, we are playing game 1. Game 1 has concluded. Michael is the champion. Not with a minus $100, he's not. But let's say he won $1,000. And when I change the state of game from pending to, or playing to complete, when the state changes to complete, I want to add that to his player profile, which currently has a big fat. Interesting. How did that get in there? Am I updating the wrong table? I might be updating the wrong table. This might be a bug that I need to find. Or it's updating 2 tables at once. That's crazy. Let's find out. Let's first find out how it's behaving right now. Let's make that a 0. We're going to start with absolutely nothing. Michael has 0 there. He's got 0 there. We'll go answer a question as Michael. So Mark says, I'll take WTF for this. And now I have a bug in a script include on line 238 because I was monkeying with the code. Isn't that fun to watch? 238. It's almost time to break this thing down into smaller chunks. Get players, 238, says player.state. This is out of my many-to-many table. There is a state field in here. Is it not called? Let's reload that. It barked about something. Cannot find function state. Did I, yeah, I think I know what happened. Where's my service? There. Script include. Sorry about the flipping around. Oh. I'm setting up the, forgot the add query. Silly boy. Somebody's probably screaming, you forgot. No, I did it's not u_state because it's a scoped application, and I rarely ever use the u_ in scoped applications. I pride myself on not having to use that. You can. There's nothing that says you don't have to. But I type as little as possible. So let's try that. Go back to the card. Get rid of these nasty error messages. Reload the card. And Michael says JSON stands for. And we can cheat and look at the answer. What is JavaScript object notation? It's also available here, should you want to play along at home or practice whether you're on the right card or not. And Michael answers that. Where did his winnings just go? It obviously is counting this. And it should be adding it to that. But did it also add it here? It did not. Okay. We're getting close. It's adding it to the right place. It's adding it to the many-to-many table record amount. So what I want to do is tally the amount. Now, I could write all this code in a business rule. I prefer not to. I like to unit test in a script include. I like to keep the core functionality whenever I do a glide record, lookup, or update or something. I put it in a script include, and it makes the function very easy to test. So I have no other place to do. We have a couple of functions around players. I may break this up into player functionality and board functionality and card functionality. So set answer says set player amount. This is when a player answers a correct score. So it's updating the many-to-many table, and it says if you can get the player by ID, go get the amount, turn it into an integer, add the amount from the card, because we could be playing double Jeopardy. This could have been a $600 question instead of a $300 question, and then set that value amount and return that back for whatever reason. Now that is one version of it to update the many-to-many. The other one's going to look very, very similar. So I'm going to use the programmer's best friend of copy and paste and call this set player profile amount. That'll work. But I'm not passing the card, I'm passing the game profile amount. And I'm not updating the player M to M, I'm going to update the player table. So I need to get, I'm going to need a little more information. I need the player ID and the game ID so that I can get the right many-to-many record out of that. Or can I just pass an object? Do I really care? Not really. No, as long as I've got the game amount, I already know that. Or I should know that. How am I going to get that? We'll have to find the winner. But we'll get that in a second. Let's first make sure this works. So player GR is use glide record. That's our traditional API to get database records. Go get the record according to that sysid. The amount, yes, it's called the amount field on this table, and I purposely called it amount on the other table as well, which makes it really easy to copy and paste my scripts because one table came before the other and the other was just a cheat. It's not the card amount, it's the game amount. I'm going to add that to that user's winnings. And is that it? Is that really all I had to do? Change a table and change a variable name? Maybe. Let's find out. So here's the reason why I do this. Save that. And let's write a real quick test script. Test script for rolled up amount. You can see the application on this, right? If you've got, say, something that happens daily and you want to get a summary of how it happens weekly without running a report, and maybe it's project task hours as they're added, they roll up into a project hours. You can do this roll-up capability very, very easily. Go get the individual amount from the related list or from a specific record and roll it up to another record at some triggered point. So, you know what? This might even be more fun to do with Flow Designer. Instead of that script include, that might be a more interesting exercise. But for now, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Convert this into a flow. I usually do script first because, hey, the script happened to be there already. So var c ju is a new util object. I need to use my script include. Then var player ID equals, we'll get Michael's ID, var game ID. What did I copy and paste out of here? Okay, the actual function name. ju.setPlayerProfileAmount. Let's add, say, player ID gets $300 added to his profile. We just want to make sure that this is updating the record accordingly. So I don't need the game ID, do I? Nope, I don't. Okay, I just need Michael's not sysuser. This currently says 0. I need the sys-ID of that player record, which is what the target I'm going to update. Go back here, paste that in there, copy over to script background. I'm going to open that in a new window. I did not intend that to pop up quite that vividly, and it says, Chuck, you typed something wrong. You silly boy. Caused by script line error on line 4. Undefined value has no properties. All right, where is it? New player ID, var player ID. That's a sys ID. JU set profile amount. Anybody? What am I missing? Okay, interesting. There, we'll take line 4 out. Does that help? Line 4 was empty. That is the worst excuse, and I know the error is going to still jump in my face. Okay, line 4, the undefined value has no properties. Var player ID equals, ta-da. All right, fine. You want to play that way. Let's just pass this straight up. I won't declare a variable. Take that. And you know what? I don't even need to do a new. I can just say new util there. It's a one-liner. How bad can we screw this up? If it weren't for errors, we wouldn't learn anything, right? Undefined value. Oh, line 14 in the script include. So this is saying there's a problem there. This is saying there's a problem there. So let's go to the script include. Yes. I need to pass in a game record. Silly me. I forgot the whole functionality. I was thinking about something I was writing yesterday. There is a parameter required for the instantiation of that project. I really need to make that better. So let's go get a sys-ID from the game record. It's going to serve us no useful purpose in this particular case, but I do need it because it needs a game GR here. So for the fun of it, var game GR equals new glide record. It's going to be on X, SNC, Jeopardy. We're running out of time. Jeopardy Game is the table. Game gr.get. Paste the sys-ID in there, and this is an actual unit test. So it said, hey, Chuck, you might want to learn how to use your own APIs. That would be nice. There we go. One row updated. And if I go back here to, of course, I'm not on Mr. Slobodnik's profile anymore. He's got $300 there. He's got $300 there. And if I add another 300, if I run that again, he should now be 600 in the profile. No. Do you see the problem with this? It said 300, 300. It is treating them as strings because the get value is a string. So I need to convert those. Therein lies the problem. Let's go back to our script include down at set player amount. It should be add. That's a terrible. Let's do this. Add player profile amount, which means I really want to change this so I don't get caught with my short attention span. So it's getting the value of one of them and then setting the value there. What I need is I got 300 out of there. It's treating this game amount as a string. I need to convert that as well. So var GAMT equals parse int game amount. Interesting. Let's see if that does. Then I do a plus equal. PAMT is what they've already won. Let's reset that back to 300. What? This is an integer field, right? If I do a show on that, it says, yes, I declared it as an integer. Let's go back to 300 there. But get value apparently is still treating it as a string. Never trust the data types. Always cast them if you can. All right, that was the community. Coming up on the top of the hour, let's run my new version that says add player amount, because I'm not really setting the amount, I'm adding it. And I add, and it says, oh, you know what? I did add this as a string. Well, no wonder it's treating it as a string. I put it in quotes. Interesting. That still should have worked. This is going to get rid of the error. It's simply going to give me a different error. Cannot find function add player profile amount in object. Did I or did I not save that? Back here. Add player profile amount. I didn't save it yet. Save early, save often. And never trust your data types. There's your 2 lessons for today. All right, one more time. Run that. We've updated a record. Mr. Slobodnik now has 600. Ta-da! So my rolling up function works. Where I call this from is going to be interesting because I still need to find who the winner is. It'll be the person with the highest amount. That's going to take a couple more minutes, unfortunately. We've reached the top of the hour, and I can write that function in about 5 minutes, but don't want to keep you any longer than I need to. You know what? Heck with it. I'm going to stick around and write that. You can stick around too if you want. We need to write a quick function down here to find the winner. Who has the most money? So reset player, get players, set player, set control. This looks like a good enough place to do it. Find winner function. And we don't need to pass it the game ID because that's instantiated and known throughout this script include. That's why it's this.gameID and this.gameGR. So I pass in the gameGR, so I don't need to do all that. What I do need to do is go over the many-to-many table for this game. So new glide record, game player M2M. I'm cheating and looking above on line 225. A bigger cheat would have been to copy and paste. Player gr dot add query where game is this dot game ID. Find all the records in that related list for this game. That's what that says. Player gr dot, I only need one. So how do you find the one with the most? There should be a query to find who has the highest. Maybe it's not a glide aggregate, because glide aggregate won't return you the record itself. You could do a sort and a set limit. That's it. Order by amount. So that will order them from lowest to highest. But let's do order by descending. Haha. That's a real thing, right? If I don't believe so, let's try it. Order order by descending. Yes, okay. Thank you, IntelliSense code completion. Player.gr or player.gr dot set limit 1. So I'm telling it, get all the records, sort them in reverse order so that the highest amount is at the top, and only get one record. So I got the top record. Let the database do the hard work. Don't retrieve all the records and then filter through them. That could be very, very costly if you're dealing with, obviously I'm dealing with 3 records here, but if there are tens of thousands of records and you want to find out who's got the highest amount, let the database do it. It's much, much faster. We'll do the query. We'll do an if player gr.next to get the record and then return the amount. We don't really need the ID, we need the amount. We need the ID and the amount. Okay, we're going to return an object then. If you need to return something complex, use an object. obj.amount equals parse int player gr.getValue amount. That tells me how much they won, and this tells me who won. Player ID equals player gr.getValue, with a capital V, player. Return obj. Anything else we need to return? Who won and what they won. I don't think we need to know the game because we're just going to update that, because those are the 2 parameters that we're going to pass to the other function. Make sense? And of course here we just return nothing, and if we are smart, we will modify our test record and say who won this game. So let's do, this time, var ju equals new util game gr, instantiate it with that object. Now you see why I didn't have to pass or look up what game was happening. Change this to add player amount, ju dot, but I'm going to comment that out because I only want to test. Yes, I see 2 dots. I only want to find out gs.info json.stringify the answer to this, ju.find winner. Let's find out who won. We're going to get this in a very interesting format. We have $300 from Mr. 6191B. Excuse me, sir, are you Mr. 6191B? And I can see right here on the URL, Michael Slobodnik is Mr. 6919B. And if I take that and pass it to my test script, this will now be, we need to save that answer. That was a nice way to say, what did you get? But I really need winner equals that. And then pass this one, the winner.id, winner.player ID. I know it's in quotes. Shouldn't do that. Winner.player ID and winner.amount. All right, here we go. We should see a 900. Get this bumped up. Run that. 1 record updated. And he's now got $900 total winning. So this rolling up piece works. Where is that going to be applied? I am going to apply it in a business rule. So that's very easy to do now. I can do a business rule. I've tested the functionality before I even applied it to any real records. Add winnings to player profile. This will be on the game record. Not too many tables in here with the name game. I'm going to do an advanced business rule after, because I am updating a different record than the current record. I'm not updating the game record. That would be a good place for a current. I don't have current.anything in here yet. We're going to do this on an update when the state changes to complete. When the state changes to complete, after that happens, I'm going to drop in my code here, but I don't need to do the lookup on that record. In this case, I can just pass current as my object. Let's reformat so it looks a little nicer. Get the winner, update the winner amount. Right? Anything else in here I need to change? No. Let's get this test script out of there. Nice, tight business rule. And I can test this all day by going to the game record, opening that up, and change the state to complete. Save that. And still down here, he's got $300 winning from this game. Go to his profile, he's now got $1,200. So that was fun. Got that updated, all ready to go. I do have a couple more bugs to do. I forgot that I already did the data model piece, so I wish I'd shown that to you, how to make a many-to-many table. That concludes today's lesson. Hope you found that interesting or somewhat educational. Maybe you can use that in business logic that you've got somewhere. I encourage you to do that. I also look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Thursday. If the stars align and I'm happy and healthy and here, I will do this for you. Look forward to seeing you there. Until then, learn something, share something, be helpful, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye.